You're scrolling Instagram at like 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you see it. Your old coworker, the one who used to complain about money just as much as you, just posted from Barcelona, third vacation this year, and you're sitting there in your apartment, the same apartment you've been in for 4 years, eating leftovers. Again, and you feel this tightness in your chest. Like, what am I doing wrong? Everyone, and I mean everyone, seems to have more money than you. Your cousin just bought a house. Your friend from college is driving a Tesla. That guy you went to high school with, he's posting about his investment portfolio. And you? You're trying to figure out if you can afford to replace your phone screen or if you should just live with the crack. Here's the thing, though. What if I told you that feeling, that gnawing sense that you're falling behind, isn't actually about money? What if the reason everyone seems richer than you has almost nothing to do with their bank account and everything to do with how your brain is wired to torture you? Stay with me. My name is Bill Broke, and I spend way too much time thinking about why we all feel poor even when we're not technically starving. If you're someone who works hard, makes decent money, but somehow always feels like you're one emergency away from financial collapse, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today we're going to talk about something nobody wants to admit. You're not actually behind. You just think you are. And that difference, that's what's keeping you broke. Okay, so let's start here. Why does everyone seem richer than you? I'm going to give you the short answer first, and then we're going to go deep. Short answer. They're not. They're just better at looking rich. Look. Here's what's happening. You are living in the first era in human history where you can see everyone's financial highlight reel 24/7. Your brain wasn't designed for this. 100 years ago, you knew maybe 150 people in your entire life. Your your village, your town, whatever. And you could see their lives up close. You knew who was faking it. You knew who inherited money. You knew who was in debt. Now, you're comparing yourself to 1,500 people on Instagram, most of whom you don't even really know. And all you see is the vacation, the car, the dinner, the watch. You don't see the credit card statement. You don't see the family money. You don't see the fact that they're actually more stressed than you are. This is called social comparison theory. It's a psychological concept from the 1950s, and it basically says humans determine their self-worth by comparing themselves to others, which was fine when others meant your neighbor Steve. But now others means a celebrity, an influencer, your ex, and some random guy in Dubai you met once at a conference. Your brain is trying to run 1950s software on 2025 hardware, and it's crashing. Here's where it gets kind of dark. You ready? Most of the people you think are winning aren't winning. They're just losing louder. Let me explain. There's this thing in behavioral psychology called conspicuous consumption. It's the idea that people buy stuff not because they need it, but because they want you to see them buy it. The fancy term is signaling. And here's the trap. The people who signal the most are often the ones who can afford it the least. I'm serious. There's actual research on this. A study from the University of Chicago found that people in lower income brackets spend a higher percentage of their income on visible goods, clothes, cars, watches, than wealthier people do. Why? Because they're trying to look like they belong. They're trying to prove something. Meanwhile, actual rich people, they're wearing a hoodie and driving a 2015 Honda because they don't need to prove anything. So when you see someone flexing on Instagram, there's a decent chance they're more broke than you. They just have better credit. Or worse, they have debt they're pretending is wealth. And you're over here feeling bad about yourself, comparing your reality to their performance. That's the game. You're not behind. You're just refusing to play a stupid game. Okay, let's do some math, because this is where it gets really clear. Let's say you have two people, person A and person B. Both make $60,000 a year. Person A drives a $35,000 car, financed, $550 a month payment. lives in a $1,800 per month apartment in a trendy part of town, wears nice clothes, goes out on weekends, posts on Instagram. Person B drives a $8,000 used car. Paid off, lives in a $1,200 per month apartment. Not trendy, just fine. Doesn't really post much. On the surface, person A looks way more successful, right? But here's the reality. Person A is spending $550 per month on a car, $1,800 per month on rent. That's $2,350 per month on just those two things. Person B is spending $0 per month on a car. It's paid off, insurance and gas only. $1,200 per month on rent. That's $1,200 per month. The difference? $1,150 per month. Now, let's say person B invests that difference, $1,150 per month, into a basic index fund, 7% average return. In 10 years, that's $196,000. In 20 years, that's $577,000. Person A, meanwhile, still has car payments, still has rent, and maybe has $10,000 saved. This is what I call the appearance tax. You are literally paying to look successful. And that payment, it's not just money, it's freedom, it's time, it's the ability to walk away from a job you hate. Person A is trapped, golden handcuffs. Person B has walking away money. And that is the only wealth that actually matters. All right, so why do we do this? Why do we choose to look rich over being free? Because your brain is wired for the wrong era. Let me introduce you to a few psychological concepts that are quietly bankrupting you. The Diderot effect. This is a fancy term for you buy one nice thing and suddenly everything else in your life feels like garbage. Named after an 18th century French philosopher who received a fancy robe as a gift and then realized his furniture didn't match. So he bought new furniture, then new curtains, then redecorated his whole house. All because of a robe. You do this. You buy a new car. Suddenly your apartment feels too small. You get a promotion. Suddenly your clothes feel cheap. You upgrade your phone. Suddenly your laptop feels old. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's designed to keep you on a treadmill. Status anxiety. This one's from the philosopher Alain de Botton. It's the fear that you're not measuring up, that people are judging you, that you're falling behind in some invisible race. And here's the kicker, the race isn't real. There's no finish line. There's no prize. You're just running because everyone else is running, and you're so focused on keeping up, you forget to ask where you're even going. Ego depletion. This is the idea that willpower is a finite resource. Every time you resist a purchase, you use a little bit of willpower. And eventually, you run out. So you're scrolling online, you see an ad, and you think, you know what? I deserve this. And maybe you do, but deserve is a marketing word. It's not a financial strategy. Here's the truth. The system, capitalism, advertising, social media, it's designed to exploit these biases. It's not a conspiracy. It's just game theory. If you can be convinced to spend money to feel better about yourself, you will spend money forever, and you'll never feel better, because the feeling you're chasing, it's not in the purchase, it's in the validation, and you can't buy that. So what do we do? How do we stop falling for this? First, you got to change the game you're playing. Stop trying to look successful. Start trying to be free. And I know that sounds like a bumper sticker, but hear me out. Freedom, in financial terms, is simple. Freedom equals walking away money. It's the amount of money you'd need to say, I quit, and not panic. For some people, that's $10,000. For others, it's $100,000. But here's what it's not. It's not a car. It's not a watch. It's not a vacation you post about. Those things are signals. And signals are expensive. Freedom is quiet. Freedom is boring. Freedom is a paid-off car and a mediocre apartment and a growing investment account that nobody sees. But freedom is walking into your boss's office and not being afraid. Freedom is saying no to things you don't want to do. Freedom is sleeping at night, and that is worth more than any Instagram post. Okay, let's get practical. What do you actually do with this information? I'm going to give you a few habits, not the typical wake up at 5 a.m. garbage. Real, specific, financially liberating habits. Habit 1, audit your appearance spending. Sit down, look at your bank account, find every purchase in the last month that was made because you wanted someone else to see it. The dinner you couldn't afford but posted about. The shirt you bought because it had a logo. The subscription you don't use but feels professional. Add it up. That number, that's your appearance tax. Now imagine that number invested every month. Does it change how you feel about the purchase? Habit 2, build walking away money. First, forget retirement. I'm serious. Retirement is 40 years away. You need freedom now. So here's the goal. Save $10,000. That's it. Just $10,000 in an account you don't touch. Why? Because $10,000 is enough to quit a toxic job and survive for 2 to 3 months while you figure it out. $10,000 is psychological armor. It changes the power dynamic of your entire life. And once you have it, you'll feel different. You'll walk different because you're not in survival mode anymore. Habit 3, become allergic to monthly payments. If it has a monthly payment, you don't own it. It owns you. Car payment, you're renting your car. Financed furniture, you're renting your couch. Subscriptions you forgot about. You're paying rent to a company that doesn't even know you exist. Here's the rule. If you can't buy it in cash, you can't afford it. Wait. Save. Buy it later. I know that sounds like impossible in 2025, but that's the point. The system wants you to think you can't survive without debt. You can. Habit 4, optimize fixed costs, not lattes. Everyone's obsessed with cutting $5 coffees. That's not the problem. The problem is the $1,800 per month rent, the $600 per month car payment, the $200 per month in subscriptions you don't use. Cut your rent by $300 per month. That's $3,600 per year. Invested at 7%, that's $50,000 in 10 years. That's freedom, not skipping coffee. Habit 5, unfollow the flex. This one's going to sound extreme, but it works. Unfollow anyone on social media who makes you feel poor. I'm serious. If seeing their posts makes you feel like you're behind, unfollow. Not because you're jealous, but because your mental space is expensive. Every time you feel bad about yourself, you're more likely to spend money to feel better. It's called retail therapy, and it's not therapy. It's self-sabotage. Protect your brain like you'd protect your bank account. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This video isn't going to make you rich. Following these habits won't put you in a mansion, but that's not the point. The point is, you're not behind. You never were. You're just playing a different game than you thought you were playing. Everyone else is sprinting toward a finish line that doesn't exist, chasing appearances, chasing validation, chasing the idea of success. And you're over here thinking you're losing, but you're not. You're just seeing through the illusion faster than they are. And that's actually the first step to winning. Because once you stop trying to look successful, you can start actually being free. And freedom? Freedom is quiet. It's boring. It's a small apartment and a paid-off car and an investment account nobody knows about. But it's sleeping at night. It's saying no. It's walking away. And in 10 years, when everyone else is still running on the treadmill, you'll be sitting on a beach somewhere. Not because you posted about it, but because you can actually afford it. So, if this video helped you see things differently, do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment letting me know. What's one appearance cost you're going to cut this month? I read every single one, and if you want more of this kind of financial therapy, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stop comparing, start building, and remember, you're not behind. You're right where you need to be. Peace.